Hey, Rob Shammer, video number 28 of my 30-day 60 video challenge. Rob Shammer, Pimensky Shammer Associates, Elite Business Coaching and Consulting. One of the things I still have to figure out how to do is how to get myself to be at the beginning of the video as I am in the middle of the video. I've gotten a lot of feedback and everybody's telling me about halfway through I become real, I become more natural, I get into the zone, I get into that space. But sometimes have a little bit of a challenge getting there in the beginning. Love some ideas, love some feedback, love some suggestions, put them down in the comment section. So I gave a talk yesterday to a group of students about leadership. And I was trying to figure out what angle I wanted to focus on. And I decided I wanted to go with self-leadership, and I came up with an analogy. And I thought I would share it with you. And again, love to hear what you think about it. It was sort of made up a little bit on the fly, which when I've done some tests on myself, I'd mentioned the Colby Index before. It said that that's part of my nature, part of my modus operandi, that I should do things on the fly. I shouldn't be so rigid and structured, but take an idea and run with it and see where it goes. So the imagery that I came up with in self-leadership was the wedding canopy. In a Jewish wedding, there's a wedding canopy overhead with 4 poles. So this was the image I used for self-leadership. So the canopy itself represents 2 things. It represents, I'm not going to go into great detail because I want to keep this video short, but it represents commitment and team. That husband and wife coming together are committing to each other. They become a unit together. It's not one person standing alone, but 2 people unified together, committed. And also as a leader, and within leadership, you have to honor your commitments. You have to be committed to what you're going to do. You have to follow through with what you're going to say. And you also have to recommend you can't lead in a vacuum. It's not something you do alone, but you do with a team. So that was the aspect of the canopy. And then I had 4 images holding up the canopy. The first one was a journal. I've talked about it before, the power of journaling, the power of becoming more aware of yourself, aware of what's happening around you. It's only through awareness that we can grow as leaders, self-leaders within our families, within our relationships. So that was image number 2. It was the second image holding the pole. The next image holding the second pole was a tree. And the tree had the aspect of renewal. Renewal, getting out into open spaces. We get so caught up, we get so busy. It's a busy world we live in. Non-stop action and activity, constant barrage of information. Sometimes we need to remember to hit the stop button and go out into open spaces, into a forest. I find that nature is very regenerative, and it also helps us clear our minds and think and get clarity in life. What are we doing? Why are we doing, right? We can journal, but sometimes we need that quiet space to really build our ideas. The next image, holding the third pole, is a heart. And a heart represents a few things. Within leadership and within self-leadership, you have to be passionate about what you do. You have to commit yourself to it. You got to have a fire around it. And also the heart to me represents health. You got to take care of yourself, of your body, your mind, your soul. You got to exercise. You got to eat well. You got to think well, right? And then the fourth image was a scale. The idea of having balance in your life. That we can't push ourselves in one area. Very often we see people that are so successful, but they destroyed the rest of their life. There's so much of recent. I know when Sam Walton passed away, he lamented over how he spent too much time at work and not with the family. Steve Jobs, the same thing. Recently, pop stars that are dying, that their lives were drugs and alcohol. Right? And they missed out on the finer things in life, leaving children and loved ones behind because their lives are completely out of balance. So that idea of creating balance. So these were some of the elements that I shared with these students, and maybe it's something that'll be helpful for you in understanding your role as a leader, in self-leadership over yourself and your relationships with those around you. So I'd love to, as always, I'd love to hear your feedback, your comments below.